21 amazing things your immune system does every day. Your immune system works 24 hours a day protecting your body. Most of its work happens without you even noticing, as it wages a silent, microscopic war to ensure your survival. Facts 1 to 5:1. The microscopic predators, white blood cells. Imagine a bustling city where a dangerous intruder is hiding in the crowd. In your body, this intruder is a bacterium, and the elite police force hunting it down is your white blood cells, specifically the neutrophils and macrophages. These cells act like sentient predators. They can actually smell the chemical trail left by bacteria through a process called chemotaxis. Once they track down the invader, they perform a feat called phagocytosis. The white blood cell stretches its membrane around the bacterium, engulfing it completely into a pocket called a phagosome. Inside, the cell releases a cocktail of lethal enzymes and toxic oxygen molecules that literally digest the bacteria into harmless fragments. This happens thousands of times a day, ensuring that a single splinter or a minor scratch doesn't turn into a life-threatening infection. 2. The biological wanted posters, antibodies. When a new virus like the flu or a common cold enters your system, your immune system acts like a high-tech forensic lab. Specialized cells called B lymphocytes examine the surface of the virus to identify unique proteins called antigens. Once identified, these cells begin mass-producing antibodies, Y-shaped proteins designed to fit the virus like a key into a lock. These antibodies flood your bloodstream and latch onto the viruses, effectively tagging them for destruction. By coating the virus, they prevent it from entering your healthy cells and act as a biological wanted poster that tells other immune cells exactly what to attack. This precise recognition is why you rarely get the exact same illness twice. Your body keeps these antibodies on file as a permanent security record, ready to strike before the virus can even take hold. 3. The healing inferno, how fever works. You might feel miserable when you have a fever, but internally, your body has intentionally turned up the thermostat to create a hostile environment for invaders. When an infection is detected, your immune cells release chemicals called pyrogens, which travel to the hypothalamus in your brain, your body's internal thermostat. The brain then signals your muscles to shiver and your blood vessels to constrict, raising your core temperature. This serves two brilliant purposes. Many bacteria and viruses are temperature sensitive and cannot replicate easily in the heat. And more importantly, your immune cells actually move faster and work more efficiently at higher temperatures. A fever is essentially your body's way of accelerating its chemical reactions and cooking the infection out of your system, turning your torso into a battlefield where only the strongest biological defenses survive. 4. The living fortress, skin as a barrier. Your skin is the most underrated part of your immune system, acting as a massive, self-healing suit of armor that prevents billions of microbes from ever entering your internal environment. It isn't just a physical wall. It is a chemical minefield for pathogens. Your skin is naturally acidic, with a pH of around 5.5, which creates an acid mantle that most harmful bacteria cannot tolerate. Furthermore, your skin cells produce natural antibiotic peptides that kill microbes on contact. Beneath the surface, specialized Langerhans cells act as sentries, constantly sampling the environment for signs of a breach. If you get a cut, your skin immediately triggers a cascade of clotting and inflammatory signals to seal the gap, ensuring that the fortress remains secure while the internal army prepares for any intruders that manage to slip through during the initial opening. 5. The chemical cauldron, stomach acid. Every time you eat or drink, you are potentially ingesting millions of microscopic organisms. Your body's primary defense against this foodborne invasion is the stomach, which acts as a biological incinerator. The lining of your stomach secretes hydrochloric acid, creating an environment with a pH between 1 and 2, roughly as corrosive as battery acid. Most germs that thrive in the outside world are instantly denatured and destroyed the moment they hit this liquid fire. The acid breaks down the protective coatings of bacteria and viruses, rendering them harmless before they can reach the nutrient-rich environment of your intestines. This allows you to survive in a world filled with unsterilized surfaces and food, as your immune system relies on this caustic chemical cauldron to neutralize threats before they can even be considered an internal infection. 6. The biological library, immune memory. The most sophisticated feature of your immune system is its ability to learn and remember. After defeating a specific pathogen for the first time, your body creates memory B cells and memory T cells. These cells act as living archives, storing the exact chemical blueprint of the enemy. While most cells die off after a battle, these veterans retreat into your lymph nodes and bone marrow, where they can survive for decades. If that same virus or bacterium ever returns, these memory cells skip the learning phase and immediately trigger a massive, pre-planned counterattack. This is the foundation of long-term immunity. Your body is a walking history book of every microscopic war it has ever won, ensuring that you rarely lose the same battle twice. 7. The strategic chaos. How inflammation heals. While swelling and redness can be uncomfortable, inflammation is actually a highly coordinated tactical maneuver. When tissue is damaged or infected, local cells release histamines that cause nearby blood vessels to dilate and become leaky. This allows a flood of plasma and immune cells to rush into the area, much like an emergency response team rushing to a disaster zone. The heat and swelling are byproducts of this increased blood flow and fluid accumulation. This environment traps pathogens in place, prevents them from spreading to the rest of the body, and provides the necessary nutrients for rapid tissue repair. Without inflammation, even a small infection would have no boundaries, and your body would have no way to deliver its defensive forces to the front lines. Getty Images 8. The microscopic checkpoints. Lymph nodes. Think of your lymph nodes as a series of highly secure military checkpoints scattered throughout your body. As lymph, the clear fluid that bathes your cells, circulates, it is eventually funneled through these bean-shaped nodes. Inside, the fluid is filtered through a dense mesh filled with millions of white blood cells. These cells interrogate everything passing through, searching for any signs of bacteria, viruses, or cancer cells. If an intruder is found, the lymph node becomes a hub of activity, swelling up as immune cells begin to multiply rapidly to launch a response. This is why doctors check the nodes in your neck when you're sick. A swollen lymph node is a clear sign that your internal security force has caught a suspect and is currently mobilizing for war. 9. The antiseptic wash. The power of tears. Your eyes are extremely vulnerable to the outside world, but they are protected by a continuous stream of liquid gold. Tears are far more than just lubricant. They are a potent chemical defense. Every time you blink, you coat your eyes in a fluid containing lysozyme, an enzyme that is a natural antibiotic. Lysozyme works by physically attacking the cell walls of bacteria, causing them to burst on contact. Tears also contain lactoferrin, which starves bacteria by binding to the iron they need to grow. This constant chemical rinse ensures that the millions of microbes drifting in the air never get a chance to colonize the surface of your eyes. Your tears are essentially a 24/7 antiseptic wash that keeps your vision clear and your internal environment sterile. 10. The sticky trap. How mucus protects. Mucus is often seen as a nuisance, but it is one of your body's most effective defensive traps. Your respiratory and digestive tracts are lined with goblet cells that produce a thick, sticky gel designed to catch invaders like a biological flypaper. As you breathe, dust, pollen, and bacteria become hopelessly entangled in this web. This mucus is also packed with secretory IgA, specialized antibodies that neutralize pathogens before they can even touch your living cells. Once the trap is full, microscopic hairs called cilia work like a conveyor belt, moving the mucus up toward your throat where it can be swallowed or coughed out. It is a tireless, low-tech filtration system that prevents your lungs from being overwhelmed by the invisible particles in the air. 11. The emergency ejection, coughing. When the mucus traps too many irritants or a pathogen manages to reach deep into your bronchial tubes, the immune system triggers a violent emergency response, the cough. Your airway is lined with ultra-sensitive nerves that act as a tripwire. When triggered, your brain coordinates a massive contraction of your chest and abdominal muscles. By building up pressure against a closed airway and then releasing it suddenly, your body creates a blast of air traveling at speeds of up to 50 miles per hour. This cough reflex is a physical cleansing mechanism that blasts germs and debris out of your system with supersonic force. It is the body's most aggressive way of ensuring that nothing compromises the sanctity of your lungs, clearing the path for oxygen to reach your blood. 12. The rapid flush, sneezing. Just as coughing protects the lungs, a sneeze is the ultimate reset button for your nasal passages. When sensitive nerves in the nasal lining detect an irritant like black pepper or a virus, they send an urgent signal to the brainstem. The resulting explosion is a masterpiece of biological coordination. Your lungs fill to capacity, your chest muscles compress, and air is blasted through your nose at incredible speeds. This sternutation physically ejects pathogens and allergens before they can settle in and begin an infection. It is a high-pressure irrigation system that clears the entry hall of your body. Interestingly, the photic sneeze reflex in some people shows that the wiring for this defense is so close to the optic nerve that even bright light can accidentally trigger the alarm. 13. The warrior factory. Bone marrow. Every second of every day, a quiet miracle occurs inside the soft, spongy tissue of your bones. Bone marrow is the foundry of your immune system, housing hematopoietic stem cells that have the incredible ability to transform into any type of blood cell. Through a process called hematopoiesis, the marrow produces billions of new white blood cells every day to replace those lost in battle. Depending on the chemical signals it receives from the body, the marrow can shift production to create more neutrophils for bacterial infections or more lymphocytes for viral threats. Your skeleton is not just a frame, it is a massive, distributed factory that ensures your internal army never runs out of fresh soldiers, keeping your defenses fully staffed and ready for any encounter. 14. The blood filter, the spleen. Located just behind your stomach, the spleen acts as the primary quality control center for your entire blood supply. It is packed with specialized white blood cells that act like a giant filter. As blood flows through the spleen's intricate maze of vessels, the immune cells identify and remove old, damaged red blood cells, as well as any bacteria or viruses circulating in the bloodstream. The spleen also serves as a massive storage depot for monocytes, a type of immune cell that can be rapidly deployed to the site of an injury or infection. By constantly scouring your blood, the spleen ensures that your circulatory system remains clean, efficient, and free of the microscopic debris that could otherwise clog your organs and slow down your immune response. 15. The friendly allies, gut bacteria. You are never truly alone. Your digestive tract is home to trillions of good bacteria that form a critical part of your immune defense. These microbes live in a symbiotic relationship with your body, performing a task called competitive inhibition. By occupying the space and consuming the nutrients in your gut, they physically prevent harmful, bad bacteria from gaining a foothold. Furthermore, these friendly allies communicate directly with your immune cells, training them to distinguish between harmless food and dangerous invaders. Approximately 70% of your entire immune system is located in the gut, working in constant partnership with these bacterial residents. This microbiome is essentially a second, invisible layer of your immune system that protects you from the inside out. Here is the final part of the story. Facts 16 through 21. These have been expanded to approximately 1,200 characters each, providing an exhaustive look at the high-level strategies and chemical warfare your body employs to stay alive. Facts 16 to 21. 16. The Military Academy. How vaccines train the army. Vaccines are essentially the most sophisticated training manuals ever written for your immune system. They work by introducing a weakened or mimic version of a pathogen, such as a piece of a viral protein or a strand of mRNA, into your body. This doesn't cause the actual disease, but it is enough to trigger a full-scale training exercise. Your immune cells identify the mimic as a threat and launch a complete defensive response, culminating in the creation of highly specialized antibodies and long-lived memory cells. This process is like a military academy, where your soldiers learn to recognize the enemy's uniform and weapons in a safe, controlled environment. If the real, dangerous pathogen ever attempts to invade later, your immune system doesn't waste precious days trying to figure out how to fight it. The veteran cells immediately recognize the intruder and deploy the exact chemical weapons needed to neutralize it within hours. This preemptive strikes often stop an infection so quickly that you never even realize you were exposed, turning a potentially lethal encounter into a non-event through the power of biological foresight. 17. The chemical radio. Intercellular communication. Your immune system is not just a collection of cells. It is a highly coordinated network that relies on a complex language of chemical signals called cytokines and chemokines. Imagine a battlefield where millions of soldiers are spread out, yet they all move with perfect synchronicity. This is achieved because immune cells are constantly talking to each other. When a macrophage discovers a bacterium, it doesn't just attack. It releases cytokines that act like a biological SOS signal. These chemicals travel through the blood, alerting nearby cells to the danger, and even calling in reinforcements from distant parts of the body. Some signals tell blood vessels to dilate, others tell the bone marrow to accelerate the production of more soldiers, and some even reach the brain to trigger a fever. This molecular radio system ensures that the response is proportional to the threat, neither too weak to be effective, nor so strong that it causes unnecessary damage to healthy tissue. It is a masterpiece of biological information technology that allows trillions of independent cells to function as a single, intelligent defensive unit. 18. The invisible patrol. Constant surveillance. Every second of your life, millions of immune cells are performing a tireless, invisible patrol through every inch of your body. Cells like natural killer, NK cells, and T lymphocytes behave like specialized security guards, moving through the bloodstream and the lymphatic system to frisk almost every cell they encounter. They look for specific identity tags on the surface of your cells, known as major histocompatibility complex, MHC, markers. If a cell is healthy, it displays a self-tag and is left alone. However, if a cell has been hijacked by a virus or has mutated into a cancerous state, it will either display a foreign tag or stop showing a tag altogether. The patrolling immune cells immediately detect this anomaly and trigger a process called apoptosis, or programmed cell death, forcing the compromised cell to destroy itself. This immunosurveillance is your body's most critical defense against the internal threat of cancer. It is estimated that your immune system identifies and destroys potentially cancerous cells multiple times throughout your life, long before they can ever form a tumor or cause a single symptom. 19. The catalytic accelerator, fever and speed. While we often view a fever as a symptom of being broken, it is actually your body's way of shifting its internal chemistry into overdrive. When your core temperature rises, it isn't just about heat-killing bacteria. It is about the laws of thermodynamics. Chemical reactions happen faster at higher temperatures. By raising the heat, your immune system accelerates the rate at which white blood cells divide, the speed at which they travel to the site of an infection, and the efficiency of the enzymes they use to digest pathogens. At the same time, a fever triggers the liver and spleen to pull iron and zinc out of the blood. Since many bacteria require these specific minerals to replicate, the fever effectively starves the invaders while simultaneously supercharging the defenders. It is a high-stakes, scorched earth policy. Your body is willing to endure the discomfort and high energy costs of a fever because the metabolic payoff is a vastly more aggressive and rapid immune response. This thermal surge can be the deciding factor in a race against a rapidly reproducing virus, ensuring that your biological defenses stay one step ahead of the infection's growth rate. 20. The immediate response, healing after injury. The moment you sustain a physical injury, whether it's a tiny paper cut or a deep bruise, your immune system begins a multi-stage emergency recovery operation that starts in milliseconds. The first responders are the platelets, which rush to the site to form a temporary plug and release chemicals that cause blood vessels to constrict, stopping the leak. Simultaneously, mast cells release histamines that trigger localized inflammation, bringing a flood of white blood cells to the area to sanitize the wound. These cells act like a microscopic construction crew. They clear away dead tissue, eat any bacteria that slip through the breach, and release growth factors that signal nearby skin and blood vessel cells to begin multiplying. This transition from defense to reconstruction is a seamless, automated process. Within hours, a framework of fibrin and collagen is laid down to bridge the gap, creating a scar that is actually a biological patch. This immediate mobilization ensures that the external world stays outside, maintaining the integrity of your internal environment, while the long-term work of tissue regeneration proceeds quietly beneath the surface. 21. The living algorithm, constant adaptation. Perhaps the most miraculous thing about your immune system is that it is never the same twice. It is a living, learning algorithm that adapts to every environment you enter. Every time you breathe in new air, eat a new food, or travel to a new city, your immune system is quietly sampling the world and updating its database. This process of somatic hypermutation allows your B cells to literally evolve in real time during an infection, tweaking their antibody designs until they find the perfect key to unlock the enemy's defenses. Once the battle is over, this knowledge is etched into your biological history. This constant state of flux means your immune system is a reflection of your life's journey, a personalized shield that is uniquely yours, built from the specific microbes and challenges you have encountered. It is an incredibly resilient system that manages to balance extreme aggression against invaders with a profound tolerance for your own tissues. This lifelong adaptation is what allows humans to thrive in nearly every climate and ecosystem on Earth, as our internal security software is constantly being patched, updated, and improved to meet the ever-changing threats of a microscopic world.